Now, as we have seen, the main responsibility given to Abraham was that he go to the land of Canaan. Moses stressed this responsibility because he wanted Israel following him to stay the course for the land of Canaan as well. And of course, as Moses wrote about Abraham's other responsibilities, he did so to teach the Israelites of his day about their many other responsibilities. The many requirements of loyalty from Abraham spoke plainly to the fact that the original audience was to be loyal and faithful to the commands of God as well. In the third place, we've also seen the importance of the theme of God's promised blessings to Abraham. In his stories about Abraham, Moses focused on the promised blessings of a great nation, prosperity, and a great name for Abraham and his descendants. And on a number of occasions, we even see that Abraham experienced some foretastes of these blessings in his own lifetime. And on many other occasions, the stories of Abraham focused on the future fulfillments of these blessings in generations to come. Moses focused on Abraham's blessings these ways because these promises were also for Abraham's descendants, the people of Israel, whom Moses led. The people of Israel were promised great blessings too. They were to become a great nation, to experience unprecedented prosperity, and to receive a great name when they entered into the Promised Land. In fact, much like Abraham, Israel had also experienced many foretastes of these blessings by the time the book of Genesis was written. They had already begun to see fulfillments of some of these promises in their own lives. Yet there were still many future fulfillments of these blessings to come once they entered the land of promise. God spoke of these future blessings for Israel at Sinai in this way, in Exodus chapter 19, verse 6. "You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." Moses wrote of the blessings God promised Abraham to raise the hopes of Israel in his day. As they read of God's promises to the patriarch, they could clearly see how God had great blessings in store for them as well. In the fourth place, we've also seen that the stories of Abraham revealed that God's blessings would also come through the patriarch to the entire world. As you'll recall, the blessings through Abraham would not come in a simple fashion. In Genesis chapter 12, verse 3, we learn that God would give Abraham success through a process of blessing Abraham's friends and cursing his enemies. In a variety of episodes, Moses pointed out how God gave Abraham foretastes of this process in his own lifetime as he interacted with other peoples representing different nations. And on a number of occasions in his stories of Abraham's life, Moses pointed out that many fulfillments would come in the future. Moses stressed this motif because it was so relevant to the people of Israel who followed him in his day. God assured them of success in being a blessing to others because he would bless their friends and curse their enemies. They too had seen foretastes of these promises as they interacted with various groups of people in their own day. They had already seen God bless those who were their friends and curse their enemies on a number of occasions. And beyond this, Moses also focused on these matters to turn the eyes of the Israelites toward future fulfillments as they entered the Promised Land and spread the kingdom of God to the ends of the earth. As we have just read, in Exodus 19, verse 6, God said this to Israel, "You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." This vision of the nation as a kingdom of priests did not simply point out that the nation itself would be blessed with the privilege of being a holy people serving God, but also pointed out that the children of Israel would serve God's purposes throughout the world. As Moses inspired Israel to move toward the Promised Land, his stories about Abraham were designed to instill within them the vision of how God was going to use Israel to spread His kingdom and thus His blessings to the entire world. Now that we've seen the implications of the four major themes of Abraham's life for the original audience, let's briefly summarize the impact of Abraham's stories on the original audience by looking at each major step in the structure of the patriarch's life as it is recorded in Genesis. You'll recall that the stories about Abraham's life divide into 5 main steps. First, Abraham's background and early experiences in chapter 11, verse 10 through chapter 12, verse 9. Second, Abraham's earlier interactions with representatives of other peoples in chapter 12, verse 10 through chapter 14, verse 24. Third, the covenant that God made with Abraham in chapter 15, verse 1 through chapter 17, verse 27. Fourth, Abraham's later interactions with representatives of other peoples in chapter 18, verse 1 through chapter 21, verse 34. And fifth, Abraham's progeny and death in chapter 22, verse 1 through chapter 25, verse 18. Each of these major steps divides into a number of smaller segments or episodes. We'll briefly summarize the content and some of the main implications that these episodes had for the original audience for whom Moses wrote.